Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. I'm the president, founder, and chief listening officer here at our network. Today's show is the power of etiquette and manners. We're going to be talking about fashion, style, wardrobe, makeup, everything that is super important for us to embrace and take into our lives, and the importance of having our own stylist. So Mr. Philip Sykes, my co-host, he is on holiday today, and we have someone from his organization who's been here before. Leanne is a dynamo. I'm thrilled that she's here with us, and we also have a special guest. So let's bring them out. My first guest is Leanne MILTUN-LATECKA. I hope I got that right.
Almost.
Almost right. I'll keep practicing.
Thank you so much, Dr. JACALYN, for having me. And I'm really excited to have Elsa on the show. It's going to be lovely. Fashion and styling is very dear to my heart. It's a wonderful subject. And Elsa is absolutely amazing.
Yes, she is. She's been here before, and I'm excited to see her again. I know how busy she is, and what a wealth of knowledge she has. So before we bring her out, Leanne, can you give us a little bit of background about how you are aligned with the British School of Excellence?
I'm the relationship manager for the organization. So that involves, relationships with various people, clients, organizations. And I work really closely with Philip Sykes in the background, doing some of the marketing, some of the sort of product development and so on. So it's a really exciting place to be, and very excited to be working with Philip and his team.
Wonderful. And how do you know Elsa?
Elsa is one of our team members for the British School of Excellence, and we do take a 360-degree approach to polishing professionals. So it's not only about etiquette and manners and communication, but we look at the total person. So image is very important. It's one of the integral parts of the teaching that we offer, and I think what Elsa is presenting is really invaluable.
I agree with you. Let's bring her out. Joining us, Elsa Boutaric. Welcome.
Hi, hello. Nice to see you again. Very happy and grateful to be here today.
Thank you so much. It's nice to have you back. And as Leanne was saying, style is so important. And sometimes people just take it for granted. And there's a big meeting coming up and you see someone, they look disheveled. And unfortunately, with our eyes, we make a decision as to whether or not we can trust someone, or whether or not we want to partner with someone or work with someone. What are your thoughts about this, Elsa?
Well, it is the way the world works nowadays. And it's true that if you were to take two people with the same knowledge, and if those people were to present themselves to a job interview without them having to speak, well, automatically you will give more interest toward the person that will actually look the best, who actually would have done an effort on themselves, rather than someone who really doesn't care. So fashion is sometimes seen as something a little bit superficial for some people, but when you really think about it, fashion has been here since generation. We always use fabric and clothes to express something about ourselves, and so fashion is really a tool to communicate. It's actually part of a non-verbal communication. So I always say, and I understand those who don't really see fashion as a tool for them in their life. They don't really embrace that as fashionista, so to speak. But I always say, try to make a little bit of effort. So that's why I teach my clients. Some of my clients, as I said, they're not really into that fashion, but at least they're trying to make that effort to also feel better about themselves and they really see the difference, even with the relationship that they have with themselves. When they really put effort, they feel more confident. The way people look at them, they get more compliments. So it does have this effect, which is the beauty of clothes, the beauty of my work, and it does have its own little magic. Yeah.
It's actually so important because, you know, we often ask how long does it take to make a first impression? And it's generally between 3 and 6 seconds, which is literally a snapshot when you meet somebody for the first time. And over a Zoom call, they say it's about 3 seconds. So you've got this tiny window of opportunity to create a positive first impression. And it's so important because, you know, if somebody's looking a little bit scruffy, or, you know, they're not dressed professionally, you do tend to kind of look at them and sometimes judge too quickly. So, yeah, absolutely key.
Well, you also have to adapt to your environment, which I think it's important. Like, for instance, today, my client was more, the meeting that I had with her, even as a personal stylist, I knew I had to dress a little bit more casual based on what we were doing, who she was, and also where we were. So it's also, I think, important to adapt that to your environment. Being well dressed doesn't mean to be all the time dressed professionally. You can be casual, even very casual, but still making an effort on how you dress. So adapting to your environment is also very important. For instance, I would have, if I would have gone, to see that client today and been dressed up very professional, my image would not have aligned to that environment that I had with her. So those parts are also very important. And I think that's also why when you build a wardrobe for yourself, you really need to understand your lifestyle. And based on your lifestyle, you need to allocate 80% of your spending, meaning your cost per wear, based on that lifestyle. So for instance, let's say your lifestyle is 80% casual or business casual. This is what you need to allocate most of your budget, and really understand where do you position yourself with your style within your lifestyle, so to speak. So this is also very important to take into consideration.
Oh, absolutely. You know, when we do our polished professional training, we sometimes put up slides to show different types of attire. And, you know, you've got the smart suit, you know, the very polished look. Then you've got guys that are looking really casual, wearing T-shirts, jeans, sometimes tattoos. You know, and you say, you know, imagine if you went into an advertising agency where generally people are very creative, and you were dressed in a very sort of formal pinstripe suit, you would look completely out of place. You know, you just wouldn't gel with those people. So yes, absolutely.
Thank you for sharing that. Many times when people think of fashion, they think of runway. They think of the big fashion houses in Paris, and they think, oh, I am not going to spend $3,000 for a suit or this for a handbag. But fashion is more than that, isn't it?
It's more than that. You need to find the big difference between the trend, which also it's always pleasant to follow or interesting to follow based on the reason you want to follow them. But also for me, the most important thing is not the trend itself, but also what is the best signature style based on who you are, what you need, and your authentic self. So investing in a good handbag, if you can, of course, go for it. But I will always say invest in a design it's a little bit more classic, and that you can see that will go timeless. So meaning, you know, that bag within the next 10 years from now will still have an impact. So you really have those fashion item, I call, which are more trendy item, in the moment item. And then you have your staple pieces. So I tend to push my client to invest into staple pieces, because I know they will see the cost per wear, and I know that even in 5, 6 years, 10 years from now, they will still carry that bag, or they will still wear that suit, for instance. So that's really the way I look at it. And then I also understand even I have clients with money. They don't want to spend that money on a handbag. They don't see the value. They rather invest that money into something. And I respect that. So when it's like this, then we might go secondhand, or we might go to choose another brand which still has a great design but doesn't carry such a brand, because let's be honest, you're really paying for the marketing at the end of the day. You know, you do have brands that are very good brand, not as well known, small designer that nobody knows about, and they are very good design. They carry, sorry, very good design. So everybody have the point of view about that. But at the end of the day, I think the design, the fit, and the quality needs to be priority.
No, absolutely. And I think it's so important to engage with a stylist because, you know, we waste so much money. You know, often one goes into a shop and you buy something impulsively and you take it home and it doesn't really work for you in terms of color, style, and so on. So you can waste so much money buying the wrong kinds of clothing.
It's true. It is true. And I see that especially when I go to audit my client's wardrobe, I see how much clothes they actually never used, and how much clothes they actually cannot use, even though they like those clothes, because those clothes do not fit their lifestyle, their body shape, neither the color. So I just think that hiring a personal stylist will really help you to have a wardrobe that really works for you, but also to really understand how to build a wardrobe for your body shape, for your style, personality, and for your color. And so you will not make the same mistake. And one thing I see very much frequently is that when my client goes shopping by themselves, they tend to focus on one item. They don't see the bigger picture. They don't see, oh, okay, well, if I buy, I'm just saying, that pants, well, will that pant go with that shirt, that top, that vest, whatever it is? Will that pant will create a versatile look that I'm able to wear from day to night, that I'm able to transition easily, that can be worn throughout different seasons. So that's really what a stylist will do for you. So not only you will buy less, but also you will buy better. And you will see the value of your wardrobe because you will use and wear everything.
I definitely agree with you. Thank you. A couple of comments that I have. I have some beautiful clothes from the 90s, 1991, 92, 93. Very well known designers, and the material, the quality is just as intact and good as it was when I purchased them. And I also am a big fan of vintage and secondhand shops. I've sold a number of things there. I've purchased a number of things. So, a question I have for you, this came up on another show, a woman's show that we have where it's just all women. And we were talking about when we need to change our style and our fashion based on our age. Is that a thing? You get to be a certain age and you can't wear a mini skirt or you can't wear certain things anymore. What are your thoughts about that? I'll start with Leanne.
I'm an absolute rebel. I strongly believe that I'm 18, but just a little bit tired. But I think, I think, you can't be mutton dressed as lamb. There's some things that are not going to look appropriate. So I would stay away from that. But, I'm a big believer in creative self-expression. I'm a true total bohemian. Sometimes I'm out shopping and I can feel the inner hippie in me screaming to get out. So I don't think I'm going to be able to contain myself in that respect. So, yeah.
You're true to yourself. I love it. Elsa, what do you have to say? How do you help your clients in this area?
Well, I do believe that yes, you have to stay true to yourself and also to that image that you need to portray in the environment you want to portray it. But let's be honest, I'm 38 now, I'm a mom. I still wear skirt, short, but I will not wear mini skirt now or mini short now, because I guess as a mother, I wouldn't like to have that image of she doesn't respect herself, so to speak, even though it's not true. But I know that I might, create that image. And I guess since I become a mom, even though I'm staying very fashionable in my look, I've adapted and changed a little bit. And so there's a certain image I don't want to portray. And also because that's me and that's fine. And I'm not judging anybody. You do what you want to do, what works for you. But I do believe that, of course, there are things that I used to wear when I was 25. I'm not wearing them now. Because as you get older, especially for a woman, it does look a little bit strange. So, yeah. But some women, even when they get older, they look amazing wearing very creative clothes. So it really depends on each individual.
And I think it's also about being functional and practical. Exactly. I see people wearing these stiletto high heels, and it's just, for me, that just doesn't make sense. It doesn't work for me, So I think you've got to be age appropriate and sensible at the same time.
Exactly.
Yes, I agree. I have to say, at some points in my career, I've kind of been a rebel because I had a very long corporate career up until 2020, and I would wear my red lipstick, and I'd have my jewelry, and at times I had long nails that were airbrushed with all kinds of designs, and I got pushback from my employer, and I said, this is me, this is who I am. And if the clients find it intimidating, and some clients did find it intimidating, and I ended up going the exact opposite way, and then I wasn't really happy with myself. So I guess there's some middle of the road for us.
Well, I have a good example for you. Back in the day, 10 years ago, I did some tattoo in New York City, but 10 years ago, I was not the same person. I still have them. And it's true that sometimes I can see in people's eyes when, my tattoo is shown because it's summertime, and I can see there is a slight reaction, which is a little bit weird from what I do represent at first sight. And lately, I've been really thinking about removing them because of that. Because we change through age, through cycle in our life. We do change. We don't stay the same. Everything changes. It's normal. It's part of life. But yeah, it was just a little.
Yeah, and I think it does go back also to how quickly people judge us. When I see somebody with a tattoo on their arm, it gives me an uneasy feeling. For me, there's some certain sort of connotations attached. My older daughter actually had a tattoo done right across her arm. And, at the time she was quite sort of firm about it, and I was a bit concerned. And it has become a problem now because she works on a super yacht. And they don't want any tattoos at all. So she's had to undergo many, many laser surgery sessions to try and remove it. And it, takes a long time. And you can't do the sessions too quickly. So it can present itself as a problem later on.
Yeah.
Interesting. Just a comment that I have always been someone who was not a tattoo fan. And then during the pandemic, I was watching Netflix, not a paid spokesperson, and there was a show about the art of tattooing. And I actually got completely into it. And I thought, oh my gosh, I have a different perspective about it now, because it really is something that's so personal. I don't have any tattoos, but I look at it now and think, oh, that took 20 hours for someone to have that on their body, and it's so personal. So I think it can also be seen as a piece of art as well. So I guess it's up to the employer and also the individual how people want to express themselves. But so Leanne, for the British School of Excellence, what is the stance, or is there one, about tattooing?
I think it's about appropriateness. Obviously, if you're going into a serious business meeting and you've got tattoos up your neck, it does create this impression. But there again, we have to look at the relevance and the situation. If it's somebody from an artistic background or a creative or so on, we have to accept that. But, in the background, for me, it does make me slightly uneasy. So I think it's very personal. So if you want tattoos, I would say rather have them, done in places in your body that are not quite so noticeable.
Thank you. Elsa, a question I have for you is, depending on where we are in the world, it's summer here in the United States. I know it's winter in New Zealand and I believe Australia. So we're actually getting ready to transition to the fall. And people start getting panicked. They start going through their closet and they've got all these things that they've never worn. And now the change of season. How do you work with your clients? How do you coach people for the change of seasons to be able to let go of some things and embrace some new things?
Well, there's a rule that I use all the time, which is when I go to see my client, I always I ask them to do a little bit of work before I arrive. Because let's face it, this is their wardrobe at first. So I can't just step in without them to doing a little bit of digging at first. So the way I work is I ask them to do 3 different piles. So one is the pile of this is what I've used. Another one is I kind of don't know, but I still like those items. And another one is, well, I haven't worn those items in a long time. So for those that haven't worn in a long time, it's already a no questionable. And most of the time they agree with it. They either give it away, sell it, whatever they want to do with it. But it's that pile goes for 99% of the time. Then I wear a pile and I kind of don't know. Well, this is where I step in and I help them to create look they haven't thought about. And if I really find out that a lot of those in this I don't know pile, there are clothes that do not fit their body shape or their lifestyle, their personality, their color, then those go to, okay, I need to give that away. After I've done all of this, I know what is in the wardrobe, what they can keep, what we can use to work throughout the next season. This is when I create a list of the item I need to add on to what they have in order to transition to the next season.
Thank you. I appreciate that. What would you say, Elsa, your personal style is when you're not meeting with clients? How are you showing up?
Well, like this, I have denim, my shirt, my Celine, I still have some embellishment here, and a very simple but still feminine casual t-shirt. I always have a statement earring. So I'm always very feminine, casual, but with a little bit of edge into it all the time. I always have something that is edgy in my style.
I like that. Thank you. A question I have for both of you. You just mentioned feminine. So we all have feminine and masculine energy. And depending on the event or whatever it is we're dressing for, we may want to tap into that masculine energy at some point. You've got a big power meeting coming up with some executives and you still want to be feminine, but at the same time, you're going to bring in some masculine energy. What can we do to give that vibe?
I spent many years working in corporate private healthcare, and a lot of the time it was very professional, very medical, and so on. So smart suits with a smart shirt with a little accessory, a nice necklace or a tie, one of those lovely neckties and so on, just to soften it. So I think that's quite a useful, and maybe some lovely earrings or a hair accessory, just to take the edge off. There's, you want to be professional, but not unfeminine in a sense.
I think that this aspect is very funny you're talking about that, because it goes beyond just styling nowadays. As women, we have to carry so many hats, and our energy are shifting from that hat to another. So for instance, when I have to be a mom, I'm going back to that very much feminine, nourishing energy with my daughter. And then I have to carry the hat of hustler and entrepreneur. And then I'm like, okay, going back to my masculine energy. And I don't want to be personal here, but because I'm raising, those of you know my story, and I'm raising my daughter by myself. So I have those two energy, male and female, all the time here. But I still want to be represented very much feminine, as you said. but I want I want the outside world to also respect me as an entrepreneur. And especially when it comes to being a personal stylist, because sometimes you do have to convince people that what you do is just not fashion, it's a real job. So you have to carry that authority. And I really think that I really respect women in general for that, because the way we are capable to shift from masculine to feminine, it's incredible. We need to be respect, we need to show authority, but we also need to remain woman, which is not always easy to do. And clothes can help for sure, but not just the clothes. It's also an inward work.
Great points. I know we're running out of time, Elsa, but I do have a question for you. I think this is really important. I interview people all the time from all across the world, and many times I see women showing up and their shoulders are showing, and maybe they have tan lines, or their face doesn't match their neck. What are your thoughts about this in terms of proper etiquette and also being fashionable and being a woman, being sexy?
Well, one rule that I always have is try to be low key, meaning do not wear nothing, but don't be too busy here. Meaning, okay, just to give an example, I'm wearing those hoop. Those hoop are already doing the job as accessories. If I were to have like a big chuck necklace and chunk bracelet, I'm just giving an example, that will be very much messy. And if I had some print adding to that, that would be like, oh, wow, that's too much. So I would say that you can be creative. For instance, my shirt today is very much more on the creative casual side. So are my hoops, but I'm still keeping that low key, right? So that's where I want to get, like, add your creativity, because this is also your personality. But if you know that you need to have a certain etiquette based on where you need to be, don't go too beyond. Same with the perfume. Don't go too much. Try to stay, try to stay in the middle line, I would say. If it makes sense.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to do a little bit of research when you're going to a meeting, to a venue, to an event of some sort, to find out what the dress code is beforehand, because there can be nothing more embarrassing than being overdressed, excessively overdressed or underdressed or too casual. At least, if as a man you are dressed with your jacket, shirt and a tie, if you see that you're a little bit overdressed, you can actually take the tie off, you can unbutton your collar and so on. So I think that's quite key. Elsa, I want to ask you something really crazy. Is it my imagination? I find that shopping for women's clothing in shops is generally quite chaotic. There are all these racks and things all over the place, and I start to feel stressed. When you walk into a men's shop, the shirts are all neatly put together and the trousers are together and the jackets. Everything seems so orderly and organized. Is that deliberate? Is there some sort of psychology behind that?
Well, I don't know about that. I don't think so. I do know that we have more choice for women that we do have for men. Well, because women are bigger spender, so obviously they produce more for women than they do produce for men. That's one thing I know for sure. Then obviously it might be sometimes a question of organization in the shop you are going. Some shops are, like I was at Printemps today in Paris. It's a very big mall, but everything was so clear and organized. So I guess depending on which shop you go to, the staff might be doing a different, the job differently. That's also another thing. But I agree, even me, when it's too busy at some point, it's hard to focus. It's like, oh my God, it's too noisy around me, too much choices, sorry. So I do agree with you. And it can get distracted sometimes. So again, you can feel that you're lost when you get there. That's why it's also important to have a stylist with you, because this is our job to really, as stylists, we tend to enter a shop floor and we tend to very quickly, even if clothes are on a rack, to spot what will work, what doesn't work. We will spend way less time than someone who is not a stylist trying to figure out what is working, what is not working for you. So that's another thing.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, because I mean, I sometimes find shopping overwhelming. You kind of overwhelmed with all this kind of choice, and then you tend to buy something impulsively. You'll kind of be attracted to a certain fabric, color, or pattern or something, and you take something then which is not necessarily suitable or doesn't fit in with what you've already got in your wardrobe. So you end up wasting money.
It's true. And you also have days where I hate going shopping on weekend. Honestly, I had a client yesterday. I had a client today. Today we are Friday. It was a little bit busier, but I try to, if I can avoid to get my client on a one-on-one session on a weekend, honestly, I avoid it. Absolutely. Because it's just it's too much. It's too much. Weekdays, it's always better if you can. I know not everyone can, but if you can, it's better. So, and some, as I said, some mall and some store have a better customer experience than other. And that's also one thing you want to look at when you go shopping.
Exactly.
Thank you very much. Elsa, I know that you've got another commitment, so I'd love to spotlight you. And if you can share with our audience, especially people who cannot see the banner, they're on the radio or they can't read it, how do people contact you to work with you?
Well, they can contact me directly via my website, www.elsabystyling.com, where they can message me directly. They will find my numbers directly there. They can contact me they can call me or WhatsApp me. They also have a link to my Instagram on my website, and then my email, elsa@elsabystyling.com. And I work online with my clients and also work one-on-one.
So you can work with people all over the world?
I can, yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for taking the time to be with us today and for sharing your expertise and knowledge.
Thank you so much. I see you soon.
Thank you so much, Elsa. Bye-bye.
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 Thank you. Thank you so much, Leanne, for bringing her here. The one question that I want to just follow up with, and you can speak to this, is how much skin should a woman show? So is it okay to have, you go to a business meeting, you're wearing spaghetti straps, or you're wearing a strapless top, or what are your thoughts about that?
In a professional environment, I would generally stay away from exposing too much skin. Very short skirts or completely exposed necklines could be a little bit inappropriate. I think we need to reserve those for going out, for social events and so on.
Thank you for sharing that. And what about also, I had asked this to Elsa, but so we wear makeup and then our face is one color, our neck and our this area is a different color. Is there any etiquette and manners about that?
I think it's so important to blend it, otherwise you can look a little bit odd, and people, as I said, you've got this first impression, and if your makeup is looking a little bit odd, people are going to look at you and judge you and, wonder if everything's okay. So certainly, to match the tone and to make sure that you get some professional advice on makeup. There are people at the makeup counters that are very helpful and that will help you choose the right shades and show you how to blend and so on. So absolutely, I think that's really important.
Thank you. And we've had some individuals on our show, they special in fillers, Botox and fillers. And I've been someone who's been getting them for years, but I haven't had anything in the last year and 2 months, which I know we can see it. But my point is that what I've noticed on women is their face doesn't move. And then they're showing their skin and their skin looks very aged. There's a lot of sun damage. And I think it all has to match or don't show it, right?
Absolutely. There are people that overdo the Botox. Apparently it's addictive. So people keep on with it. They're never satisfied. They keep filling and tucking and carrying on to a point where they start to look unnatural. I've met people, and I was absolutely fixated. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. So I think you've got to be age appropriate. You've got to be sensible. I think, Botox and fillers is great if it makes you feel more confident, if it makes you feel better about yourself, if it helps you to project a more professional or a more positive image. I'm all for it. But, like you say, I think we've got to be appropriate, so that we don't look a little bit odd. Or else, if you've had a lot of Botox, then rather cover up the neckline. Wear closed shirts or neckties or ties and so on to kind of to cover it up.
Thank you. And what are your thoughts about scarves and brooches? Are they still in vogue?
Yes, very much so. I have a huge collection. I buy them regularly. People give them to me as gifts. I absolutely love them. So I think there's some wonderful modern styles. There are plenty that you can buy, in the shops these days. I think they're lovely. I think they look smart. They look elegant. It's also a nice way to dress yourself up. If you go out somewhere and you have your scarf tucked away in your handbag, and you can see that it's quite a sort of a fancy event. At least you can pop a scarf around your neck, and you can sort of make yourself look a lot smarter. To be honest with you, I sometimes keep a scarf on my desk. So if I'm joining a Zoom call and I realize that we're in smart company, I'll just quickly pop a scarf on. And very often people will say, "Oh, you always look so smart. Love your neckties," and so on. So I think they're great. I think brooches are wonderful. There's some beautiful new modern designs. You can put them onto scarves to look, to jazz them up a little bit. So, yeah, absolutely all for it.
I love them as well. I actually worked part-time. One of my side gigs, I worked at a major retailer and I was in the scarf section, and they love scarves, but they don't know how to tie them. They don't know how to wear them. And it's actually, once you get that knowledge and you feel more comfortable, a scarf is great. It really can change the whole look of something, dress something up.
Absolutely. And there are quite a few TikTok videos or little short clips made with people showing you how to tie and how to twist. They're absolutely amazing. So whenever I see those, I actually save them and keep them as inspiration. Yeah, amazing.
You just touched on something. You mentioned TikTok. I'd love to have you come back for another show. We can talk about etiquette and manners when it comes to social media, because I think this is something that's really in desperate need today.
Absolutely. And, I love what some of the people are doing these days. In the past, etiquette and manners were seen as stuffy, poncy, stiff upper lip and all that sort of thing. And, it's not the case. It really is for everyone. It's as relevant today as it ever was. So, I think some of the things are funny. I love the sense of humor. I quite enjoy some of the ones where they show you the right way to do things, the wrong way to do things. And it's made it appealing. The videos are short, 30 seconds, under 1 minute in most cases. And I think it's educational and fun at the same time. And that's what we really need to get across.
Yes, for sure. Thank you so much for being here today. We're going to look at a couple of clips. The first one is about afternoon tea, and I really enjoy this. If there's anything you want to add before we run that, and then also a testimonial.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah, I think afternoon tea is one of my absolute favorite things in the world. I love collecting odd things. So one of them is collecting afternoon tea experiences. So I think wherever you are in the world, it's always lovely to pop in and have one of them. Some of them are lighthearted. I've had afternoon tea with cats in Poland, and so on. I've been to some lovely venues, and I think it's just absolutely incredible. And I think we should be doing more of this. I think we should pause. We should take a break in our busy day or busy schedule and go out and just enjoy the quality of the experience.
Yes, I agree with you. It's interesting. Yesterday on our show, The Wise Ones, our guest and also our co-hosts both are collectors of tea. They try all kinds of tea. They have afternoon tea. So I didn't even know this, and it's because I ran the clip. So you start finding out that people love tea, and the fact that Philip shared that whole history of tea, I think is brilliant. And I know that's part of the platform that you have there at the British School of Excellence.
Absolutely.
All right, let's take a look at this, and then we'll have a chat.
Absolutely phenomenal. Love it, love it.
I love it too. The tea kettle that has that's see-through, it's so beautiful, the way that tea is
Absolutely
displayed.
beautiful. And those little dried flowers that sort of explode in the water are, they're just fantastic. I think it's one of the most incredible rituals. I mean, I'm such an addict that I've got a whole collection of books. I have the Ritz book, and I have this one called Scone or Scone. And my sort of personal quest in life is to try and perfect the art of the scone. And I'm constantly trying different recipes to find the best version. And I just think it's absolutely incredible.
I do as well. And I when I asked you a question, I asked this to Philip, and he gave me his answer, but I am wondering how do people attend a tea like that and eat all that food and still stay thin?
It's absolutely wicked. a lot of walking or exercise around it. Yeah, but I mean, as a special treat, I mean, I think it's lovely to do something like that once a week or once a month, or get together with friends. I think it's a lovely way to entertain people at home, and it's fun for children, especially. I mean, I just think of getting a group of children together and letting them prepare the various items, the little sandwiches, a batch of scones. I think it's so creative, and it helps them to learn about etiquette in a fun, accessible, hands-on way.
I'm thinking that sounds like a great book idea.
Yeah. I grew up, my mother was incredibly passionate about fine crockery. She had the most incredible collection of tea sets, Swedish crystal glasses, and so on. So for me, it's been part of my life, all of my life. And I think we need to teach children that, we need to get away from the sort of modern outlook on life and bring back the old values, because it's such fun. It's a lovely art form, and I think it's great for socializing and for teaching them, the joy of etiquette in a really fun way.
And you work with people of all ages there at the school, don't you?
Absolutely. Literally from the age of 6 years and upwards, from all backgrounds, all different countries. We are involved with people from New Zealand, from India, from Pakistan, all over the United States, throughout Europe, and so on. And it's wonderful to be involved with the different age groups and the different requirements. For children, we have a program called Etiquette. For teenagers, there are a couple of programs in the Mindset and Resilience series. And for adults, we have the Polished Professional. And for those who are looking to go out and make this their career or their own business, we offer Train the Trainer. So a lot of different angles. Philip is also involved with doing private etiquette and private afternoon tea experiences and dining etiquette, of course.
And we're actually going to take a look at one of the testimonials from one of your graduates. So I'm excited to look at this. Let's welcome Felicia.
Oh, absolutely wonderful. Felicia is absolutely amazing. And I think that the pleasure for us is to see that different people from different backgrounds use the training in so many different ways. And I think that's the beauty of the Train the Trainer course, because it's in the application, and people have the freedom to use it to their best strength. You know, for example, Felicia is a love therapist and counselor. We have people from all walks of life adapting, you know, the training and the content, you know, for their own good. So absolutely phenomenal.
I've said this before, the people you bring to this program, to this platform, are so professional, so well-rounded, and really lead with their heart. So I thank you for sharing this platform with them and with us. I really do appreciate you.
We're in such a privileged position to have such incredible people, and every group that we bring through the organization, we say, wow, you know, how did we meet? You know, how did we have the pleasure of meeting such incredible people? And I think that's really the beauty, and it's just lovely. We stay in contact. We've got more than 100 alumni on our platform, and we build this community. You know, we always say that we don't want people to do the course, receive the certificate, and then disappear into the sunset. You know, we're a phone call away. We keep in contact. We offer support. We have ongoing education and webinars where they can continue to learn. And, you know, we're a phone call away if they just want to pick up the phone and say hello, and we just have a chat. You know, that's also fine. We often provide, you know, additional reading, or, you know, on certain occasions, people have asked for more details, sort of from an academic point of view. So we put them in contact with certain organizations. So it's very special, and yeah, we're indeed very, very privileged.
Thank you so much for being here and sharing this time with me. I've learned a lot, and it's always great to see you. And I've mentioned this before, but you are so wonderful in working with you, how you assist me with the guests and assist Philip. I really just honor you and thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. It's an absolute pleasure. Absolutely. Your show is amazing.
Thank you. And I know you'll be joining us in another capacity next year. I'm very excited about
Yes.
that.
Absolutely.
And I'd like to spotlight you. And if you can just share with our viewers, our listeners, how people can reach out to you, how they can get engaged, get involved, how they can sign up for courses, that would be wonderful.
Yes, absolutely. So you can make contact with me by email, leanne@thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. We also have a website with all our courses coming up, where there's a booking link and so on. And yeah, just pop me a line, and, you know, if you like, give me your phone number. We can set up a call. We can arrange a Zoom call and so on. So yes, look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you again. I hope you have a beautiful weekend, and I look forward to the next show next week.
Yes, likewise. Thank you so much. It's been lovely
Thank
being
you.
here.
Thank you, Leanne.
All
Bye
right.
for now.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. And thank you to each and every one of you who are watching or listening on the live or the replay. Please do reach out. Go over to the British School of Excellence.com. They have many offerings for you. And as Leanne mentioned, it's ageless, it's timeless. And I think you're going to have a lot of fun as well. There's a lot to learn. We also offer our course, The Power of Listening, through the British School of Excellence. And I'd love to have you on my team. If you're not familiar, in addition to being the founder of this platform, I also have another business, which is Dr. JACALYN LLC, drjacalyn.com. And I teach people how to listen at an elevated level. When you think about manners and etiquette, sometimes we take listening skills for granted, but they're really the most important thing that we have, because if we are not listening, we probably are talking, and then therefore not giving someone else the space to share what they need to share, and therefore missing out on an opportunity to really get to know someone and support someone else's work. So I will just share this with you. I look for my banner. This is what I'm speaking about. It's the Power of Listening Foundational Courses. This is an opportunity for you to learn how to listen without judging the other person, without providing a solution, without interrupting, and without stealing the stage. This course takes 2 hours. Once you complete it, you will be given a 7-question quiz. When you attain a 100% accurate answers, you will then get a certificate. And once you have the certificate, you are a member of my team. You are an elevated listener, and I will be promoting your work, letting the world know that you are someone they need to meet and work with because you give them a safe space to share. And you are not about your ego, you're about your heart. So if you're interested, I'll put up the banner and you can go ahead and start today. As I mentioned, it's 2 hours. 2 hours from now, 2.5 hours from now, you could be a member of my team. And here's a coupon code for you to use. Go over to Dr. JACALYN, DrJACALYN.thinkific, THINKIFIC.com, and you can use the coupon code LISTEN, and that is in capital letters. All right, thank you so much. That's all for our show today. We will be coming back with additional shows this afternoon. If you miss any of our content, we do have 28 live broadcasts a week. Please go over to our YouTube channel, which is USA Global TV, and you'll see that all of our shows are divided up into playlists. You can find your favorite shows by clicking the bell and be informed of all the shows that we have when we go live. If you'd like to join us and be a guest on any of our shows, please go over to our website, usaglobaltv.com. If you're interested in life, career, or executive coaching, if you're interested in yoga, fitness, or listening skills, please go over to drjacalyn.com. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you this afternoon when we come back with our next show. Bye for now.